Hey guys.
Hey guys. Sorry, I was just balancing the camera. We're back for another video, and today we wanted to talk to you about how moving abroad affects your relationship with your partner.
Assuming that you're moving abroad with somebody.
Exactly. Which
in
was,
our case,
it was, yeah.
for
Exactly.
both of us, we moved with our
Exactly.
at the time fiancés.
Yeah, and we actually had
husband.
quite similar experience in that. We had just gotten engaged, and then we got the word that we're moving abroad with our fiancés for their work. And I have to say that it was a couple of strained weeks there.
I think because for you guys didn't live together. We already did, but even though we did, it was a couple of pretty scary weeks for our relationship.
Yeah. No, it definitely was. I mean, I think once, and especially I think because I wasn't working when we first moved over.
And neither was I.
Exactly. It's just, I think once, I remember I got there on a Friday, and like the weekend was great, and we were like in the same city again, and everything was fantastic.
Doing things together.
Exactly. And then as soon as the door shut behind him on the Monday morning, it was just...
Let the panic begin!
Yeah, exactly. And I just think that you just become a bit paranoid, and you become...
It's weird,
you start second guessing your relationship with them.
I think you cling to them like it's like a life vest. Do
Yeah.
you find that? You're like, Wah!
No, absolutely. And I think because you're dealing with so many things. You're dealing with culture shock. You're dealing with like trying to get your bearings in a new
You feel
city.
a bit insecure, I
you're
think.
feeling a bit insecure and stuff. And so you sort of tend to cling, especially you haven't probably, in our case, we hadn't made new friends yet.
Yeah,
and I
it's
just think
normal.
he's the only person that I knew in the city. And we ended up arguing about such stupid stuff. It was almost like we'd like regressed in our relationship. And at this point, we're
and
engaged.
you start second guessing it, and you're kind of like,
Absolutely.
are we as strong as we thought? Can we do this? And for me, it was the same. Like, I remember it so clearly now. I had arrived on a weekend, like you said, it was like a honeymoon period. He'd stocked the fridge for me. We were sort of frolicking around, like so happy to see each other, and we're like, we can do this.
Yeah.
He goes to work on a Monday. He comes back, and I've made a nice dinner, and he comes in, and I'm like, oh, it's like 7:31, and where have you been? Where have you been?
He's like,
that's 2 minutes unaccounted for. And he's like, honey, I finished work like 2 seconds ago. And I was like, I don't think so, buddy. Dinner's cold. And I was just sort of like, I look back now and I laugh because it's just like, what the fuck? What was I thinking?
No, exactly.
But in that moment, I was just like, I was in pieces. It was ridiculous.
I remember, I think I'd been in Geneva for about a week, and we'd gone to like a city nearby on a Sunday. And in Europe, a lot of things close on a Sunday. But obviously, I'd lived in London before, and everything, there's lots of restaurants and stuff open. There's always something to do. And I remember we sat there, we couldn't find any restaurant that was open just to like have like a Sunday luncheon. And I had a breakdown over a sandwich. Like I think we'd gone to, like we found a grocery store or a supermarket that was open, gotten ourselves a sandwich, and I just sat there and I started crying, and I was like, nothing's open, I hate this place, it's not what I'm used to. And yeah, I just my immediate reaction was to blame him, and it's not his fault. Like it was completely my decision to also move to a different country with him, and at the end of the day, you're a team. So you shouldn't kind of put the blame on them.
Something's got to give, doesn't
Exactly.
it? I mean, like you move for your partner because you want them to do well and you want to support them.
Yeah.
And they would do the same for you in that situation.
Yeah.
So I think it's just about giving a relationship a bit of credit and a bit of trust. Trust them that they know what they're doing and don't be so negative about it, I think.
Absolutely. And give yourself some space. Like give each other some space. Like I think, especially once you start getting back into like old hobbies you had, and you start making friends and stuff. I think it's so important
finding
just
yourself.
to let yourselves go out with each other.
You just have to chill out a bit, even though it's hard,
Because it's so intense. Moving somewhere with someone else is so intense. I think you just need to have a bit of space.
It's a bit like a test, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
one of those relationship tests where you have a kid, maybe you get married, you get engaged, you move in together. Moving abroad is a big test.
It's a test, but at the same time, the way I like to look at it is that the worst things will happen. You know what I mean? Like, worst things will happen in your relationship. There'll be a lot harder things to do as a pair.
You have to deal with it and be that person that they fell in love with. I think that's what I realized.
Exactly.
I was like, let him go, calm down. He can't read your mind. He's not running out and having an affair. Like, it was really funny. Like, he came home one day and we were arguing about something something so silly. And he was like, darling, I'm not clairvoyant. I was like, who is this Claire you speak of? Who is she? I was just insane. We looked back and we just laughed. He was like, I came home and he was like, it was like The Godfather. Like, I turned around in my chair. There was like Special K sitting there, like a whole box of Special K. And I was like, and where have you been? And he was a bit, and I turned the light on. I was like, It's 7:31. Where have you been? And it's just looking back. I mean, things
Now
are so
you laugh
different.
at it, but at the
because
same
obviously this
time-
is our home now.
Yeah, but
We're
at the time,
chill,
it just
but
seemed like, I don't know, the biggest deal.
it's
I
just
don't know.
hilarious.
Exactly. So there you go. Those are just some of like our experiences of what we went through with our partners when we went abroad.
And give yourself some credit and calm down and try and just take a step back. And I'm sorry if we've rambled on a bit and this isn't relevant to you, but I think from speaking to our friends, we found that it happens to a lot more people.
It happens to a lot more people
than you think.
And if you've just moved abroad, you know, anywhere, we're in Geneva, but wherever you've moved to and you're going through the same thing, then you will get through it, honestly.
Unless you've moved somewhere, so you've moved to the North Pole, and there's nothing you
Then
can
we feel
do
sorry for you.
to sort of like integrate into society. But in this sense, you know, it's worth getting out a bit and sort of doing something for yourself. And you know, he comes home and just be like, hey, how was your day? You know, I've made dinner.
Just be supportive
It's
of
cool.
each other. That's all you can do.
Put it
Because
in
you
the
know what?
microwave.
They're getting used to living abroad too. It's not just you. I just think it's very easy to focus on yourself, and you just have to look at the bigger picture.
And you'll find that they're equally stressed out about your happiness, and you can help by being like, honey, don't worry about it, rather than being like, oh no, mom is not happy, you know, make me happy, it's your responsibility, like, you did this to us.
No,
you know,
at the end of the
there will
day,
be bigger tasks.
that's actually a really good point before we go. It's your responsibility to make yourself happy as well, and to make life easier for yourself. And by being negative and just being super down, constantly being down about this step you've taken together, it's not going to make things better for anyone.
I think happiness is a choice sometimes.
Absolutely. Happiness
Like right
is,
now.
Happiness is a choice. And on that philosophical note, we will bid you adieu.
We bid you goodbye.
So thank you for watching, and if it's your first time, then thanks for stopping by our
we
channel.
hope this has been helpful. And
Exactly.
shape or
Subscribe for
form.
some more tips. Check out our
And-
blog and make yourself at home. And we'll see you in the next video.
These are the wags signing out. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta!